Nightmares do come true. That's the tagline for Backlash 2024, the first ever WWE premium live event to come from France. Of course, it's a reference to the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes, the new undisputed WWE champion. But the only nightmare for the WWE is if they don't pack the LDLC arena in Lyon, France, and if the crowd is not up to par with recent crowds and their excitement in this new era, which they're sort of calling the Triple H era. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about the matches, and we're talking about predictions. Welcome to Silo Voice Wrestling on YouTube, the Silo Voice Wrestling podcast from Silo Voice Studios in Montreal. I'm Jason C. McLean. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and of course, ring that bell for notifications. I usually do wrestling opinion videos, the occasional prediction video, although my last few videos have been all predictions, WrestleMania predictions. I did 3 of them. Then I did the predictions for the draft. One of them came true, but a lot of it wasn't what I expected. Anyways, that's another subject. We're going to talk about Backlash, the next WWE Premium Live event. It's this Saturday. I'm recording this on Tuesday, the 30th of April. It's around 4:30 in the afternoon. So, of course, I'm only going to talk about the matches that are officially on the card as of now, though I might mention one that people have suspected could be added. Let's get started with the main event. The American Nightmare Cody Rhodes defends the undisputed WWE Championship against challenger AJ Styles. Okay, let's get this out of the way first. Cody Rhodes is going to win. He's going to retain. There's no long-term feud or really any feud here. It's just AJ Styles won a number 1 contenders match. They had some promos. It's probably going to be a great match, maybe a really exciting match, but the outcome is not in question. Cody just ended the forever reign of Roman Reigns, finished his story in an epic WrestleMania main event. They're not going to make him lose on his first title defense. That would be almost as bad as having the Money in the Bank winner cash in on him. They did that to Drew McIntyre, but that was kind of funny. They're not going to treat Cody the same way. So Cody Rhodes retains, but I'm sure the fans in France and us at home will be glad to see him in action. The next match is more interesting. The Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane, representing Damage Control, defend their WWE Women's Tag Team Championships against Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. So it makes all the sense in the world to put the titles on Bianca and Jade. In fact, the only reason it wasn't the title match at WrestleMania was because I'm pretty sure they didn't want to take everything away from Damage Control at the same event. Bianca and Jade will be 2 dominant champions. They'll definitely bring more credibility to the titles, bring the titles into an almost main event picture. They'll defend against people on both brands. They'll have some feuds, but I'm pretty sure that it makes perfect sense, all the sense in the world, to also keep the titles on them as long as they're really together. In fact, the only way I would see them losing the titles is if they turn on each other, kind of like how Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler lost the titles at SummerSlam. They're that dominant. It wouldn't make sense for some random team to just beat them. So, do we really want to start that dominant title reign now? Seeing as I don't think they're going to split them up at least until SummerSlam, maybe even next year's WrestleMania. Yeah, I think they're going to do it. I think the fact that Damage Control are on another brand, they might get a rematch, but I think they're going to be fighting for other stuff against other people. Maybe they're all going to be trying to find a way for one of them to beat Becky Lynch or whoever the champion is. I think Damage Control is going to be stay strong on Raw. And I think you almost have to put the titles on Bianca and Jade. The only way the Kabuki Warriors could win is by cheating, but that would just set up maybe another title match in the future where Bianca and Jade would win. That's a possibility, but my money, if I was actually betting money on it, you can bet on pro wrestling. You can bet on Game of Thrones, so who knows, would be on Bianca and Jade winning the titles at Backlash and starting what is going to be an epic title reign. The next match is Randy Orton and Kevin Owens versus the Bloodline in the form of Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga. This is the only match that features someone that I know can speak French, Kevin Owens. And one prediction is that either on SmackDown before or at the actual event, they're going to do some vignette with Kevin trying to teach Randy Orton to speak French. My other prediction, unfortunately, is that the Bloodline's going to win. They're not going to win fairly, of course. Kevin and Randy, I think, are going to be on top and almost be ready to win. And there's going to be some outside interference from, drumroll, Jacob Fatu, who's reported to be signed with WWE. And I think he's going to show up at Backlash help the Bloodline win and join Solo's faction of the Bloodline. Obviously, there's going to be a rematch, and maybe Kevin and Randy will win at the rematch. There's no titles on the line, so it's not like you have to do that rematch of the PLE. But my prediction for this one is that through cheating, the Bloodline's going to win. The next match is a triple threat match for the WWE Women's Championship. The champion Bayley defending against Naomi and Tiffany Stratton. AKA, why we need a women's mid-card title. Something like a women's Intercontinental Championship or a women's US Championship. Maybe not two of them, maybe one that could float between the brands like the tag titles. They got a really strong women's division on SmackDown. They've had that for a while, and they just got an even stronger one on Raw now with the addition of the Damage Control. Although I'm not as 100% certain as I am about Cody Rhodes, I'm pretty sure that Bayley is going to retain. Now, I also think that Nia Jax is going to get involved maybe after the match. I do think Tiffany Stratton will be champion one day, maybe after winning Money in the Bank. And I'm sure Naomi's going to have a run with the title as well, too. It'd be great, though, if they had another title they could fight for. But I think on her first defense, Bayley is going to defend. And possibly maybe Nia is going to interfere in the match and take out one of her opponents, inadvertently helping Bayley or attack Bayley after the match. Because they're setting up the development of the women's scene on SmackDown, and Damage Control are out of it. So I'm pretty sure you want to give Bayley that strong first defense win. Her other match against Naomi was interrupted, so it wasn't really a first defense. And she's going to win by pinfall or maybe submission. Our next match is Damian Priest of the Judgment Day, for now, defending the World Heavyweight Championship against challenger main event Jey Uso. Now, the most logical choice here is Damian Priest retaining for a million reasons. You want to keep that title strong, and changing it a bunch of times, as they've already changed it a few times, is not really the way to do that. Also, you want him to be holding the belt, maybe so we could lose it to a situational babyface Drew McIntyre at Clash at the Castle, so McIntyre can then go on to face Punk with it once Punk's ready. Maybe you have him win through nefarious means. Maybe the Bloodline comes in and screws over Jey, something like that. That seems to write itself. And while I've been consistently kind of normal with my predictions up to this point, I'm going to go out on a limb here. I think that Judgment Day is going to come down, despite Priest telling them not to. They're going to try and help. Jimmy Uso might show up, or someone might fight them off, or it just doesn't work. And main event Jey Uso wins the World Heavyweight Championship and probably keeps it for a little bit of time. I'm not sure how long. Why do you do that? Well, I mean, it could maybe help turn Jimmy babyface by helping him out. Also, it could help turn Priest babyface, because this could be the final straw with him and the Judgment Day. But what about matches not on the card? Well, I think they just won't be added. Triple H likes his short PLEs for everything except for WrestleMania, and this is the perfect length for one of his premium live events. Yeah, not all of the matches have been built up for that long, especially the Cody Rhodes match, but you kind of have to have that one. But if they were to add matches, there's one I think they should add, which is Sami Zayn defending the Intercontinental Championship in a triple threat match against Chad Gable and Bronson Reed. Ends with Sami pinning Bronson Reed, furthering the Gable storyline. Sami also speaks French, so he can speak French to the crowd. That would be fun, but I think maybe they're saving that for Saudi Arabia or something like that. I don't think it's going to happen, but if it does happen, I predict Sami retaining. And they even announced there's going to be a Becky Lynch versus Liv Morgan match for the title. I think that's going to be at the next PLE. If it did happen at this one, though, I wouldn't be sure. At the next one, I'm pretty sure Liv's going to win it, possibly with Dominic Mysterio cheating. But you need that to happen after Damian Priest switches good guy, which I said was going to happen. I don't know it's going to happen, but that would only happen at the next PLE. So that's why maybe they're not having this match on this PLE. So what do you think of my predictions? Do you think they're correct? Do you have your own Backlash predictions? Let me know in the comments. Follow at Silo Wrestling on X, at SBS Reviews on Instagram and Facebook, and me at Jason C. McLean on X and Instagram. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications. For Silo Voice Wrestling in Montreal, I'm Jason C. McLean. I'll catch you next time.